Hello everybody, hope you're all doing well. It's Lane here with MetaShackle. Today I'm just going to be taking a quick look at XRP, XLM, as well as BNB, just to see how things have been going and how things have been developing. As you well know, we had an incredible run with Bitcoin over the last week or so, which has been correcting today, and the dollar is starting to gain a little bit of strength, which is starting to put pressure on cryptocurrencies, and there's a very good chance that we could see the dollar continue to strengthen for quite some time here. We'll definitely have to keep an eye on that. So let's not waste any more time and let's get into the charts. And if you like the work that I do here, a great way to support me is by joining the Patreon. It's only because of the generosity of my viewers and my Patreon members that I'm able to do what I do. So it's definitely something to consider if you'd like to support my work. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. First off, swinging over and taking a look at the coin market cap top 100, we can see that the fear and greed is basically just a touch over half, hanging out at about the 62 range. But what I wanted to highlight here on this chart is the fact that BNB token has actually flipped both XRP as well as Tether, pushing XRP down to the 5th position for the first time in quite some time. Now jumping over to take a look at the BNB chart. This is the weekly chart. You can see that it looks very similar to what we've been seeing in XRP and XLM, where we had this main consolidation right here, breaking out of that, forming a smaller consolidation in this area, although this has formed more of an ascending type of a wedge pattern. We saw a 5-wave move to the upside, followed by an ABC correction, and we are now in the midst of another impulsive 5-wave move to the upside right now. We can see here that since the price broke out, starting down here on April 7th, forming the wave 1, moving up into the wave 3 here, price basically topped out right at the 786 fib level after breaking above this upper trend line, which means we could see a pullback here, which would complete the wave 4 for a final push up into the wave 5. But I do expect to see something similar in XRP as what we're seeing here with BNB. You can also see that once price had formed the wave 2 moving into the wave 3, it formed an inverted bearish order block right here on the weekly, which differs from a bullish order block. The reason why this one is inverted is because the second candle right here is longer than the first, pushing to the downside, which means that this is a bearish order block. But price broke above it and moved straight away from it without even retesting it. So this would be considered an inversion bearish order block or an inverted bearish order block. But this will be interesting to keep an eye on because nobody was expecting that BNB was going to surpass XRP anytime soon, yet it did. And just jumping over to take a look at Bitcoin really quick, we can see that we have this really big move up here, taking out the previous all-time high right here and setting a new one, topping out in the area just above the 1.786 Fibonacci level to where we have since pulled back right here into the range of this bearish order block on the daily chart. It's going to be interesting to see what happens here. And if I had to render a guess, I would be looking for some kind of an ABC correction. I don't know how big it will be or if that will necessarily even be the case, but that's just what I'd be looking for. And when we come to the daily chart here, we can see where the previous all-time high was sitting, that there's also a chance that what we could be seeing here is a larger ABC correction. So that'll also be something to keep an eye on because we still have this CME gap at these lower ranges centered at 92,222 that still has not been filled. So that will always be something to consider. But if we do end up getting this ABC pattern pushed to the downside, it could take us right into the range of this lower trend line and this bullish order block sitting right here on the daily, most likely sweeping this previous low right here and any liquidity down here, perhaps even this previous low. That's all speculation at this point. We'll just have to keep an eye on it. Now jumping over and taking a look at XLM, this chart is very close to what we're seeing on the XRP charts, with the exception that price has broken out up above the upper trend line. We did form a slight bearish divergence right here, as I pointed out in the last XLM video, which really didn't have much of an effect, basically pushing the price down right here to which it basically came right back, then rejected off of about that same point and is now trading right above the upper trend line. So this could be a retest right here to where we could start to see a move to the upside, but we'll definitely want to keep an eye on this area, because if this breaks down into this wedge pattern once again, we definitely don't want it taking out the wave 1 termination, because in doing so it would invalidate the 5-wave impulse to the upside, which would be this remaining wave 5 that we see right here. We definitely want to see this come to fruition. But as it sits right now, it's actually looking a little bit stronger than the XRP chart, especially how price is trading up above the upper trend line. And jumping over to look at the liquidation heat map, this is the 2-week. We can see that this thick band of liquidity resting above the current price and up above the majority of this pattern, above these previous highs, is only getting thicker and thicker. There's quite a bit of liquidity resting here at about 41.6. Quite a bit resting up here at about 41.8, but all in all, this is a pretty thick band going down from about that 41.3 range, even up into this area here, pushing up into about 42.5. As the price was pushing to the downside, it took out this band of liquidity right here, resting at 38.5, and there is quite a bit of liquidity resting below current price, and as we know, that upper trend line is resting right in this area. So if price does break to the downside in order to start rounding up this lower liquidity, that means the price will be going back into the wedge pattern, which we don't want to see, preferably. But if I had to render a guess, I would say that this area of liquidity on the heat map is probably looking pretty enticing to those market makers right now. Now is a time that is more crucial than ever to support real creators, the creators that you enjoy watching, especially at a time where we are moving in to a point where AI is taking over the world. Because if you don't support the creators that you love, the real creators, there's going to be nothing left to watch except for AI. And I don't know about you, but I hate watching AI. And the second I see it, I just change the channel. So that's definitely something to think about moving forward. It's going to be very important in the coming years. Now jumping over to take a look at the XRP chart. This is the daily chart. If you haven't seen my previous videos, what we're dealing with here is called a dragon pattern, with the head here, the front feet moving up to the hump, down to the rear feet, and moving into the tail, which is the breakout. Overlaid over top of this dragon pattern is an Elliott Wave Triangle Pattern in the form of an A, B, C, D, E, moving into the 5th and final leg of this 5-wave impulse to the upside. The wave E termination and the wave 4 termination is right here. I did have it placed right here, but I think it actually fits better to be placed right here, with this actually being the completion of the C wave of wave E. I've also added the equilibrium zone to the chart as well to give me a little bit more clarification on what we're looking at. Now, taking a look at the 4-hour chart, we can see when the price broke out here, we saw a 5-wave impulse to the upside, coming right here to the equilibrium line, which is the center line of the equilibrium zone here in red. It's in red because we're trading below it. Price basically stalled out right here on the wave 5 at nearly that exact point. And it looks like right now what we're actually forming is an ABC to the downside for the corrective move, which could take us down into this range here, as price has already touched the 618 right here in the area of this bullish order block on the daily. But oftentimes the wave 2 can come down to the 764 or the 786. Sometimes it even comes deeper, but it cannot go beyond 99% of the wave 1, which would be this point right here. So it does look to me like this is actually more valid to count this as the wave 1 moving into the wave 2, especially with the correlation that we're now seeing within the Fibonacci's. So what I'll be watching for is the wave 2 termination moving into the wave 3, as I'll be looking for a long position somewhere in that area, laddering some orders in here so that I can catch the wave 3 on the upside. as generally the wave 3 is the longest, quickest, and most powerful leg of a 5-wave impulse, I definitely want to catch it. But nothing has changed on this pattern. Everything is still right in order. We've yet to take out the wave 1 termination, and we're just sitting back, waiting patiently, very patiently in fact, to see this move to the upside, completing this wave 5 of the 5-wave impulse. And if you would like to trade, or if you're just looking for a place to swap your crypto with 0 fees, you definitely want to look into BitUnix. It will save you a ton of cash. It's the only place that I trade, and trust me, you'll be glad that you did. So thank you so much for watching. I appreciate each and every single one of you. Good luck and have a great day.